Hey there, Chad here. Thanks for joining me. This is my complete beginner's guide to Ostranauts. And in this episode, we are going to start to clean up our ship and maybe sell some stuff out of it. We will finish the tour of the station, at least the important parts to start. And we will talk a little bit about doing gigs and social interaction. In fact, I think that's where we're going to actually start. Let's go up here to let's come up here where we see some folks. And I need to remember to speed up my interaction here, but here is a guy named Carlos Cortez. He's currently doing a walk to something, and we can see a log of things he's done recently. And he's going to ask somebody what's up, it looks like. So we'll see what happens there. I don't recall seeing the planned in the past. That's awesome. But here what we do is if you right click on Carlos in this case, we have a little menu here. And I think, yeah, let's do this. We can hit this guy here and we'll expand it. These are all the things we can do to or with Carlos right now. We can talk to him is what all the green ones are. And I'm really not seeing where that gets rid of that, but we'll see what happens here in the long run. The advanced, so we can, the advanced discussion pieces are these. The basic ones are these. That one is advanced. And I forgot what NGN stands for. Negotiation. We can negotiate with him as well. That's right. So what we want to do just to kind of learn what the social interaction looks like is let's ask him how he is. And if we look at this, so the game has this thing in it called social combat is basically the idea. We have our series of, skills and attitudes and attributes. And so does everybody else, including Carlos here. Now, this is us. This is Carlos. If I right click here, I get myself. Incidentally, I have some social things I can do as well, like organize my to-dos or browse a social app or remember my family. And what you'll notice, I can't move my mouse to show you this, but in that box there, it says effects, us, achievement, 2 arrows up. So by selecting organize to-dos, my achievement will improve, but my meaning will go down a little bit. Now, if you look on the right side, and I will move my mouse now, my meaning is incidental. I'm going through the motions. The other one was, it wasn't contact. What was that? To-dos. Achievement. Achievement is I am unsuccessful. All right. Well, these impact how I am perceived by others and how I perceive the world around me. So I might want to do an organized to-dos, for instance, and I'll do that. And I get a little bump. So my meaning went from whatever it was there a second ago to incidental, and it's on the downtrend. My achievement is still unsuccessful, but it's on an uptrend. That's effectively what the social combat is. You're kind of trying to balance attitudes and behaviors, and then it isn't just for you. If we look at Carlos here, let's go talk to Carlos. I'm going to say, ask how they are. And what you'll notice is for us, altruism goes down, but achievement but achievement goes down. And for them, self-worth goes up and altruism goes down. So we'll go hit that. And there it is. We are interacting with Carlos. Now there will be a little dialogue down here that will say, you ask Carlos Cortez how he's doing. And at some point, we are currently waiting and we can continue to wait. But what the thing is, I think he's talking to somebody else right now. So not necessarily the best time to have tried to talk to Carlos. You can't always tell, but he changes the subject. So he doesn't want to talk about how he is. You'll notice he's facing us now. So he's now engaged with us and we have auto pause on. So the system paused once it did that and it gave us a new menu. And we can do something else like make a mildly funny comment, and that will give us some respect, but lower intimacy. For him, it increases privacy and lowers self-worth. And effectively, you'll notice over here, Carlos is an enemy. I did not realize that. He's a law enforcement officer who doesn't like us. Well, I do want to improve that relationship, don't I? I didn't even think to look at that. So right now, he sees us as an enemy and we see him as an enemy. So that is going to be the guiding principle of how we interact. So right now, he doesn't like us. We don't like him. This will change over time with different actions we take. So for instance, if we attack him, that's probably going to be a problem, right? And if we attack him, we are probably going to have a bigger problem because he is a law enforcement officer. Yeah, that's not something we want to do. I wouldn't mind softening up our relationship, so I'm going to tell a joke. Make a funny comment. That's what it is. Make a mildly funny comment, and we'll see what it does. And for Carlos, he awkwardly says to us, so. And so that had an impact as well. We can do that back to him, and you can see that it increases our privacy and his altruism. It decreases our family and his intimacy. Okay? Very good. So basically, it's a series of emotions or stats, I guess, that you're bumping up or down, and it will impact the overall relationship that the two of you have. You can go as high as, I think lover is the highest one. You can certainly get to acquaintance or friend. Those are beneficial ones as well. Enemy, obviously not a good thing. So let's see what else we might be able to say to him. I want to continue to improve the relationship. So maybe I ask him about his skills. Usually that'll be the first step when you're looking to hire somebody. You want to ask them about their skills so you can learn what they can do. We're not interested in hiring him right now. Right now, we're just kind of interested in changing our stat with him on how he sees us. He's skilled in zero-G movement and operations. That's great. So are we. And as you ask questions in that, the list of what you can ask can change. And that's important to recognize as well. Now, we could complain about authorities, but since he's an authority, that maybe isn't a great idea. We could talk about the weather. Doesn't do a whole lot, but it increases our contact. And I don't think it means contact directly with him. I think it means our interaction with people. So there we go. He asks us, what's up? Well, that's good. What else can we do? We can shoot the breeze. That's usually a really good one. You'll notice it's all up arrows when you get shoot the breeze. So we're going to do that. Shoot the breeze. And over time, I don't know if we can do it in this particular discussion with him, but over time, this can change. And that's really what we're trying to get to happen here right now. Also, as we talk, some of his things that have question marks will go away because we learn more about him. Skilled in persuasion, and he has 13 other skills that we don't know about. That's pretty interesting. Notice he does have a gun. He is a law enforcement officer, although we could have one too. I don't believe there's a firearms restriction. And let's see. So lightly touch. These are kind of intimate things you do. I'm going to avoid that with this law enforcement officer, particularly since my character is straight and he is male. Let's see what else. Yeah, and you can change that. I think I mentioned that in the first episode. You can change your outlook on interaction with folks. Mildly funny comment we already did. Metaphysical quandary is a fun one. It increases meaning, but it decreases autonomy. And this might be the last discussion piece we have with him for today. We would want to come back. Oh, he's telling us to back off. Maybe we crossed the line with him. He needs some space. So I think next we want to leave. Unfortunately, leave isn't one of the options that's showing up right now. And we just got an exception. Okay, let's cover this really, really quick. This is a debug window that will pop up sometimes if an error occurs. And if you're a programmer, you can look through it and you might know what it's trying to tell you. I don't recognize what this is trying to tell me. And I am a programmer, but it looks like it has something to do with the canvas. Didn't get rendered or something like that. In order to get rid of this, really simple, you click this exclamation point up here. Boom, it is now gone. Okay, there are some uses for the debug window in the future. There are some states the game can get into. It is an extremely complex simulation, so it's going to have some bugs, and it does have some bugs, and sometimes you will use that to kind of fix things that might be problematic. I recommend going to Discord and talking to folks if you get to a point where you're having trouble with a game and it doesn't seem like it's doing what it should do. We'll move on from there. Also, feel free to post a comment. I'll try to help where I can, but my information is limited to what I can read elsewhere. So moving on, we do want to disengage with him, and sometimes there is a leave, and that's a nice clean disengagement. Since we don't have that, we're going to change the subject, and then we're going to see, and leave shows up now. We're just going to leave. And usually that's really the best way to end an interaction, and he'll go on his way, and we'll go on our way. Are we waiting for him? He's waiting for us. I think he's moved on now. Yeah, he's talking to somebody else. So that was not a horrible interaction. We can click on this guy here. They are a stranger. That is another one. And if we talk to him for a minute or two, we might get to acquaintance. These do not always equal. Okay. We can see them as a stranger. They can look at us as a contact or I don't think friend makes any sense, but they can certainly have us as an acquaintance. And usually that means we're close to having that balanced with them. I think that does a lot with the social interaction stuff for now. You do want to maintain relationships with people and your character craves them. There are times you're going to want to come back to the station and just let them run around and talk to folks. And we will cover that in the future. Not going to worry about it just yet because we don't really need to. Let's instead go over here and talk about gigs. We're going to come over to the gig station. There we are. And I'm going to pause it again. And so the gig nexus is where you pick up jobs. And I want to go and take a look at those. We did talk about them in the previous episode, but we didn't do anything with them. So let's come out here and look again. And what we have, there's several different types of gigs. Primarily you have courier where you take something to someone. You have investigate death where you're going to go to one, find somebody. You'll have heavy hitting. These are like intimidation things where you go and beat somebody up. Wow. This one you could make as much as 821,000 credits or dollars if you do that one. That's worth noting. You don't click on these to see them though. You actually have to use the arrows. So now we're on the Gloria Crawford one. Now we're on the investigate death. Now we're on heavy hitting. The gig is Heloisa Green wants to show Jean Lam how serious they are after Jean Lam tried to blackmail them. Board his ship. All right. Well, that's an issue, right? We have to be able to track down and find his ship. Find and hurt him badly without rendering him unconscious. So we don't want to knock him unconscious. We just want to mess him up. Tell them that Heloisa sends her regards and then return and turn it in. If we do it in a certain amount of time, these are the payouts. The payout is 102,000, but if we do it if we do it in 9 days, we have a duration. If we complete it in 9 days, 21 minutes, we get paid this. If we do it in 4 hours, 12 hours, 4 days, 12 hours, we get paid this. And it's a sliding scale. So we could make up to $821,000 if we could do it in 1 day and 3 hours. My guess is the ship is very, very far away, like Saturn or something like that. And we wouldn't be able to necessarily pull that off. In fact, I think this means he's at Venus. Nope, that's not actually accurate either. It's board. Well, it could be. It could be a ship. It might be a station. I'm not sure. We'd have to go and track it down and find out. We're not going to take this one. We won't be able to. We'll lose our money. We won't be able to do that one. We will look at some of the couriers here, particularly the local ones. And here's a courier pickup. And we need to take it from here and get it to Daniela Hutchinson, who we would need to track down. Another heavy hitting one. Almost looks the same, doesn't it? It's similar. Board VNCA again. Okay, interesting. Let's keep that in mind. Sensitive item delivery. This one costs $25,000 to do. We can't even consider to do that one just yet. And then we're back to the top. Okay, so how do you work these gigs? There's generally the courier ones. That's what we're going to start with. The courier ones tend to have a pickup location and a drop-off location, or they will have a target that you're going to give something to, and you'll have to be able to track them down. In order to take the gig, I have to be at this pickup. We are not at Old Emporium. We are at Port Ezekaway right now. So this particular one needs to be returned here. That's great, but we can't start it here. So what we want to do is we need to find the Old Emporium pickup locker, which is a gig desk. We want to go to that, and then we want to take the gig. In fact, if I try to take it right now, cannot take gig, wrong desk. Yep. Okay, so just note that. Let's go back and where is refresh? Here it is. So we want to find the Old Emporium. We can look at a couple of these. This one goes from commercial to Old Emporium. Investigate death, we'll talk about. Generally, you'll find dead bodies on ships, and then somebody wants to know what happened to them is what it comes down to. Here's the one where Daniela is seeking secure and prompt delivery of a bottle to Kelly Ruiz, who is located somewhere on KLAG. OKLG is where we're at. So there's somewhere here. We'd have to track them down. There's 3 locations they could be in. Well, technically 4. And we would want to see if we can find them. It pays really, really well, actually, if we can do it quickly. Even if we don't do it quickly, it pays decent. So that's something to consider. And then was there another courier? There was not. So if we want to chain these together, it makes sense to start at commercial. We do commercial and drop it off at Old Emporium. Then we go from Old Emporium back to here. And then we do Old Emporium and we find Kelly. So that makes some sense. Now, here's the thing. These time bonuses, they're very difficult to get to the highest level in a lot of them. These courier ones, what we will see is we'll probably get like the second tier, which is gold. And that'll pay us like $600 because getting it from one level to another in 20 seconds, we have to do everything pretty much perfectly. But we're going to find out about it. So let's go to commercial. We'll take a look at the commercial level and then we will grab that off of the desk. How do we get to the commercial level? That is a great question. We go to the transit. We're going to hit 1 here to run up there. He'll open that and we are literally going to go to Ezekwe commercial. And there we have it. It will take a few seconds. It's literally loading another level of the space station. And this is the commercial district. And it will give us a little rundown of the commercial district over here. Here's where the shipbroker, the medical kiosk, and colony embassies are. Colony embassies are kind of newish. They came out sometime during the .13 or .14 builds. And it allows you to purchase citizenship. And we'll see if that becomes something we need to talk about in the future. And then there's more information about the station here. You're welcome to read through that. But here we are. So this is the commercial district. We're on the same space station, just effectively a different level. Here is a bar top. We can go and buy food or drink there if we want to. There's the transit, which is where we came in. We're right there. If we look around here, there's there's a bathroom. We can get water out of sinks, by the way. That's something to note. Basically support stuff for the station. If we look over here, here's the gig desk. That's really our primary target. The other thing we might want to do is see if we see Kelly Ruiz to know where they are. That is not Kelly. That is not Kelly. And there was one other person over here. That is not Kelly. That is not Kelly. So they don't appear to be on this level. That's not to say they aren't. They could be somewhere. I'm just not seeing them right now, but they don't appear to be on this level. This is what is their job? They are the Port Authority. And it used to be that you would go to the Port Authority to talk about certain things. We will see if that comes up in the future. I feel like it got kind of deprecated. Some of the kiosks take care of its function more. And I can't think of why we would want to go there right now. A couple of other things to know about this level. Again, the gig desk, we're going to actually end up here. We have these are the embassies. So this is the Venus one. This is another one. I don't know exactly what authority that is. And here's the one for where we're at right now. Feel free to take a look at those. There's actually, if you're following the goals in the tutorial, one of them is to go and find those. This is a very important one right here. This kiosk is where you go to see what your ship is worth and to buy other ships and to buy derelicts. And again, a lot of fun stuff. We don't need to do that just yet. We'll come back to that in the future. This is the medical desk. Here you can get medical supplies, things like that. But for now, we want to look at this desk. And then we're going to have to do this stuff really quickly once we start it. So we'll be running around to the other levels pretty quickly. So first, here are those basically the same. Oh, these are stickers that are on the terminal that people have left, so you can't always see everything. I love that. Not at all. But it is what it is. So you sometimes have to go to a different kiosk to find stuff, honestly, because you can't see it. So right now we are on Ezekwe Commercial, and this gig starts at Ezekwe Commercial, and it goes to Old Emporium, which is the other level we haven't visited yet. So this works out kind of good. And we're going to basically deliver something, and we need to deliver it in 20 seconds. Like I said, they can be impossibly short, so we're going to have to really hurry on this. So I'm going to say, take the gig. The clock starts immediately. And as soon as I hit X here, the clock starts running. I'm going to hit pause. And I'm going to right click again on the desk and I'm going to go to the access locker. And as soon as I do that, the clock will start running again. And as soon as it opens, I'm going to hit pause. And this is the stuff that needs to be delivered. It's literally scrap cloth, but it's specific scrap cloth. I am sure there's probably, I'm sure there's probably, I would bet that there is a property on this that says, oh, this is a, a mission critical item or something like that. We'll come back to that in a moment. When we go to drop it off, we'll want to make sure to drop off the right one. I'm going to close out these windows. Now, again, we're paused, and fastidious use of the pause button will be necessary if we want to try to get the maximum payout here. Now, right now, I'm taking that stuff out of the locker, so I'm currently in an action. I need to let that complete, and then I want to run to the kiosk here. So I'm going to hit pause, and it immediately picked it up. I'm now going to go to access kiosk. He'll start to walk down there. Time is running. And when he opens the kiosk, it does pause there as well. Important to know. And we're going to go to Old Emporium, which is also called Mescaform at times. This is where the black market is. And we'll look at this level after we complete the mission. And there we are. It's our first time at this level. And this is the leisure district, basically. So I guess if you read through here, maybe there's a reason we call this one K-leg and the other one O-leg. I don't know. But you're welcome to dive into the history as deeply as you care to. I'm going to hit confirm, and we're going to immediately hit pause because the clock started running again. And I'm going to hit confirm again, and the clock started running. I'm going to immediately pause, and we'll take a look at this level real quick in a moment. But here is the desk. I'm going to right-click the desk, and I have to put that stuff in the locker. So I'm going to hit access locker, and as soon as that locker opens, I'm going to pause, and there's my pause. I'm going to move this into the locker and unpause and repause. And then I'm going to say use to use the kiosk, and it opens, and I immediately paused. And then I want to go to my gigs and turn in. And as soon as I turn it in, I'm going to get the reward. It will give us a message here in the middle of the screen. There it is. Platinum tier payout. So we did it in under 20 seconds. We got the maximum payout. And as you can see, the money was deposited in our account. There is a balance sheet here that will show you your incomes and your outgoes. And it does not show this. I don't think it will show this one until the next day is what it comes down to. You'll notice these are from our character creation. We instigated violence. We smuggled through the black market. And then we also had some trading that we did. And that shows up. The gig stuff, it will start to show up. It's just not showing up right now. And this is also where we pay our mortgage and our other bills. And we will cover that in the very near future. But there we are. Now the clock is running right now. We're not going to pick up that other gig just yet. Let's take a quick look around this station. Here is sundries. Let's go take a peek at that one. Again, here's a food cart, by the way. But sundries, this is where you get some of the more advanced stuff for ships, like tables and seats. You find lights here, things like that. A neon sign. You can even find infirmary beds, so sick bay beds. Sleeping bunks, we'll definitely do that at some point. But you can also find leisurely things like arcade games, exercise systems, treadmills. So remember how we're not fit? One of the ways to get fit is get these and use them a lot. You put them on your ship and you use the heck out of them. It will affect your character and it can affect them to the better. But as you can see, there's lots of stuff like racks and things like that. A lot of it is kind of the infrastructure of a ship stuff that you come here for most of that sort of stuff. And that is the important desk on this level. I don't think there's another one. The other thing we want to talk about, spoiler alert, it's the black market. So just so you're aware, but if you come over here, this is the black market guy usually. When we get there, I'm going to go ahead and pause it. But if we right click on them, this is Landon Booth. We have, so what's it say about him? He's a criminal. So far, so good. He is a contact. And if you recall in character creation, we took that black market deal. That made him a contact for us. So we don't have to earn reputation with him for him to work with us. We got it because of that particular event. That's why I find that one very important. And what it opens up for us is this offer to trade. If I offer to trade with him, he will sell me stuff. He tends to sell cheaper than the other stations. In fact, almost always. And he has stuff that you can't get at the other places, like a cryo pump. You don't typically see those at the other ones, like the scrap desk or supplies. There will be some things that show up in here that you don't need. And this cutlass, though, man, that's hard to pass up. This is like the best of the weapons for melee combat. I don't use the guns. I don't use the firearms. I tend to use the melee combat weapons, and I really like this, and that is a really good price. I'm actually going to pick that up. I did not expect to buy something from the black market today, but we're going to do it. This is a game changer for me when you have melee skills. It protects you a lot from pirates. So I'm going to say accept. And now that will be, let's see. Okay, real quick, just something about the game. These are goals, and they pop up here and they hang out until you clear them. And I didn't even see them until just now when I was looking down there to clear them. I'm just going to right click. We can also open them by left clicking. Now, real quick, this said send items to barter zone. And this is our ship identifier, you might recall. We can tell it to send the stuff directly to our ship instead of having to carry it around. And I believe it will have done that because it was checked and all that. So we will, we already accept it. So that should have happened. If it doesn't go to the ship, it would be on us, or it will be sitting at our feet when we come out of here. And then real quick, I just wanted to show you, if you go into sell, he will buy stuff as well. But again, oh, it looks like it put it in our backpack, put the cutlass in our backpack. So it did not send it to the trade zone, probably because we don't have one set up yet. But you will look through here and he will be finicky about what he buys. Today, he will buy a backpack and tomorrow he won't, potentially. Usually it's things bigger than backpacks. It's usually things like cryo distribution pumps or reactor engines, things like that he's more interested in. He will buy them. You can sell them to him. So he will buy them and he will sell them to you, and usually at a really good price. One of the best things you can find in here is called a Hydra. It is a type of intake for your RCSs, and it is a great thing to grab. Sometimes you won't see them for weeks, and then there'll be one in here and you can grab it. All right, with all of that said, he will almost always be around this table, and there used to be a theory that you didn't want to be seen talking to him. It could get him or you in trouble. I have had a situation where he was killed. He literally got beaten up and died, and the black market wasn't available to me anymore. That was during the previous build. I don't know if that still can happen or does happen, but it was an interesting thing. I no longer had access to the black market. There are black markets in other places that you can find. I didn't have access to those at the time. So I think the last thing we're going to do here today is see if we can finish. Oh, we were also trying to see if we could find somebody named Kelly Ruiz, right? And I'm not seeing anybody here with that name either. And that's fine. We'll come back to that before we're done here, I think. I'm going to take this gig that runs us from here, this courier run from here to the port. But there was also this other one down here for Daniela Hutchinson. I'm going to go up to it this way. This one pays really well. And that's the one where we're looking for somebody named Kelly Ruiz. I'm going to go ahead and take that one too. We're not going to try to get well, actually we might be able to. If she's really located on the station, we should be able to find her in 45 minutes. It should take us a minute or two to find her. So I'm going to take that gig. We're going to go back to here, and we're also going to take this one, and this one we are going to try to burn through to get that $1,200 right off the bat. So take that gig, and we're going to repeat that process that we did before. We're going to close this window, immediately pause. We're going to open the locker. This time there's going to be two things in the locker, probably. Nope, there's just the one. Uh-oh. Did I mess up already? Let's look at the gigs. Am I only allowed to take the one gig? Maybe I didn't see that. Looks like maybe I can only take one gig at a time right now, because it definitely didn't register it. So real quick, we will do a use again. Yeah, it's still there. Take gig. Oh, job taken. Okay, my bad. Maybe you can only take one and then you have to access the locker. That could be what's happening there. All right, we're going to jump out of there. We're going to pause time. I slowed it down to a quarter of normal time just so I had a little bit more reaction time for this. We'll access the locker. We will take this. This is the one that is going to port Ezekaway locker. So we'll run there first, and then we'll try to track down Kelly. I'm going to right click here and go to it, and then I can speed myself up to make that happen. I probably just blew the platinum level there because I didn't hit it. I hit it too soon. We're going to go to Port Ezekaway though. The good news is that kiosk is like right next to the transit. That generally is the case. We're going to pause, run over here to the locker, access the locker. As soon as it opens, pause, move this into the locker. Unpause, use, and my gigs, it's the first one there, turn in. We got platinum. Okay, I didn't expect that, but that should be another good amount of money to us. Now we want to do this one where we try to track down Kelly. And if we go over here and look at gigs, it should spell it out. Our target is Kelly Ruiz. Now, I clicked on it. Is it showing me where Kelly is? Sometimes it will do that for you. You'll click on a name and it's like, oh, here they are. The other thing we can do is we can see if they're in our roster of, I'm sorry, not our roster, in our contacts. Where is our contacts? Is that socials? There it is. And let's see if Kelly's listed here. I don't see Kelly listed. So let's go back to the gig. Target Kelly Ruiz. It is wanting to put her. I mean, it's centering us over here. I feel like she must be in this area. There she is. There she is. So we are going to deliver item. So I clicked on her. We'll hit deliver item and it'll start running us over there to her. We're following her. She's at the desk. Did we actually give it to her? I didn't see an interaction there that said we did, but I don't see where we're holding it anymore. There's some vodka on the floor here. Well, that's interesting, but not sure what to make of that. Oh, here we go. Chad gives bottle vodka to Kelly. Okay. So now I think we just go back to the kiosk booth. Let's see if it tells us what to do next. We'll see. We'll try going over here, use it. Hopefully we didn't mess that up. And my gigs turn in. Turned in. And we took about $4,000 because we're up to $7,000. We can now afford a license to go do some salvaging. So we will do that in the next episode, though. We're not going to do it just now. We'll wait for the next one. But I do want to thank you for joining me on this journey in Ostranauts with my complete beginner's guide for build 14. Hope you're finding some new stuff here. And we will continue to plug away and get you up to speed so that you can enjoy this fantastic video game on your own time and at your leisure. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you'll consider giving me a subscribe and a like, and please don't hesitate to leave comments. Beyond that, until next time, fair travels.